Welcome back to the Reidel Law Firm YouTube and Honesty channel. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. So if you know me or follow me for quite a bit, you know I do business in Africa, and I'm travel there semi-regularly. It kind of depends on what we have going, and how soon I can be there. And I wanted to do a video about my experience in Africa, right? So, or at least my business experiences. Africa is a tremendous place. The people are wonderful. The beauty is just unimaginable in many places in Africa. It is a huge continent. First of all, people don't realize that it is absolutely huge. I know what you like when you're looking at typical map projections in the U.S. or anywhere, like right. It makes Canada look bigger than Africa, right? Or Greenland look as big as the United States and stuff like that. It stretches them out. And Africa is projected at its true size. It doesn't get stretched out. So it's there's a misconception in our brains just because of the way we look at maps that Africa is smaller than it really is, and it is absolutely huge. And in the amount of wonder and nature and beauty there is just it's hard to comprehend. I mean, we're spoiled in the United States. We got a lot of beautiful places and really cool nature and just wonderful things, from the Grand Canyon to Yellowstone to Niagara Falls to the Everglades, the Mississippi River. Just amazing stuff we have in the U.S. But Africa is way bigger, and it's got beautiful stuff too. It's just tremendous. So anyway, I just want to put that out there. It's a lot different than probably what your conception of it is in your mind. And it was mine too, right? I had that as well until I was able to be there and meet people. So my experience in Africa, it's a wonderful place, tremendous opportunities, wonderful people, beautiful places, but there are challenges. There are a lot of really, really difficult, not insurmountable, but there are difficult challenges there. And I just want to share a little bit about that. So my experiences there in regards to business are working with potential franchisors coming to the U.S. Or expanding into the Middle East, more likely. Also working with importers, so people who are importing African products to the U.S. market. And then some exports, not a whole lot of controlled exports that we've had to handle going to Africa, but there's a handful over the last decade. And then my own personal business matters. So I have other companies. I have an agri-tech company, does aquaponics. I have a construction company that we try to do modular concrete, cast in place concrete homes, right, residential facilities. And we are either actively seeking entry into Africa or we're there, right? And it's difficult either way. But I've been there for 4 clients. I've been there for myself, for my own business. I've been there to see some sites, and I'm very bullish on Africa. I love it. It's a beautiful continent, beautiful people. There is so much opportunity. It's just hard to wrap your head around the population sizes, the places, the needs there, and all of that equals huge opportunities, right? The challenges that I've had there are a lot of things. A lot of them are little, right? But some of them are significant. So just starting with some of my personal experiences there, one of their challenges is energy. This is worse in some countries than others. South Africa, for example, that is a significant struggle in many parts of the country, having electricity reliably for the majority of the day. I was in places where they lose power 12, 15 hours a day in South Africa, right? One of the more developed countries on the continent. And that situation is not getting better. They've had it for 7 or 8 years now, from what I've seen. It is not improving. It's getting worse. So energy is a significant challenge. Imagine trying to run a business and you can't reliably have 8 hours of electricity just when you're open doing business. It's crazy. It's crazy to think of that, right? From coming from the United States to try to operate a small business when you don't have power 6 hours of your working day. That is something we don't have to think about. And they do, right? And if you're going to do business in Africa, you're going to have to think about it too, figuring it out. How are you going to structure your meetings with your team in Africa when they don't have power? They can't Zoom in, right, or whatever, WebEx in, because they don't have power that day. So energy is a big one, man. That was a significant challenge. Besides the business side, it was irritating. I would say that personally, being there. I was lucky enough to be there when the weather was comfortable. I didn't have any issues with heat or anything, right? Plus, I'm from Texas. It's not a big deal. I didn't have any problems with that, but the apartment we were renting, my wife and I, it would, when the power went out, they had all these smart appliances, which sounds great on paper, but we don't have electricity throughout the day. Your smart appliances are worthless. So in the middle of the night, like the power would kick on every night at, I don't know, like 2 or 3 in the morning or something, or 3 or whatever. All the smart appliances would turn on and start beeping and like want to be reset or whatever. It was every single night. It was awful. It's the worst. So if you're going to move into Africa, don't get smart appliances if you're having trouble with electricity, or have a backup, I guess, like a backup battery for all that stuff. So that was one of the challenges that I experienced there. That was significant. Another challenge, something that I haven't dealt with face-to-face business-wise, but have worked with clients dealing through it or with it, and it's something that's always on the forefront of any business opportunity we're looking at, is logistics, is getting things where they need to go. There are a number of landlocked countries in Africa. I do business in one of them, Zambia. They're landlocked. So anything that comes in by port has to be trucked in or brought in by rail, which are less than reliable, either trucks or trains, not as reliable as we're used to. And there's time involved with getting it across, getting it through. There are compliance challenges, depending on what you're bringing in and where, having the right paperwork on hand. And sometimes the people checking the paperwork aren't educated enough on what they need to check on. It's like you get one answer from the national, whatever customs authority versus the actual guy at the dock or the guy at the train station where they're checking it. Have they been trained, or they're new? I don't know. Or they've done their job for 20 years and they haven't changed. That's a problem. We faced it, right? Getting stuff in when we've had the right paperwork and then trying to demonstrate, hey, this is the right paperwork. Man, that's a frustration. That's a big challenge. Another part of logistics too is just the availability of logistics. So United States, we are very blessed with a number of placed, I guess, well used and well developed inland water resources, inland water ports, shipping through inland water. So shipping up the Mississippi, the St. Lawrence, what else? Like Hudson, I guess. What's out west? I'm trying to think what else out west. Maybe Colorado, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, we have all sorts of inland water ports. Whatever the river, like Seattle. I forget what river that is. Anyways, that has some ports upwind. All of those inland ports we use significantly in the United States. It reduces a lot of shipping, like trucking that we would need. Right now, trucking is very point to point, end point. But if you're collecting resources, grain, wheat, whatever, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of agricultural products in the heartland, you're not going to truck a lot of that out. Probably it's going to be kind of expensive, right? You put it on a barge, you ship it down the Mississippi, and send it off across the world, right? We do that every single day, all over. So the reason I bring that up is to think about how large Africa is and the number of rivers that they have. The Zambezi, the Congo, the Volta, right, I think, the Nile, all sorts of huge rivers. They don't have any inland ports on the entire continent of Africa. No inland ports on the entire continent. So they do not utilize inland shipping commercially. Like, very well. I mean, maybe there's some one-off stuff here and there, but there is no significant inland shipping, which means they have to rely exclusively on rail, on trucking, and on air, which is expensive. And it just multiplies that logistics nightmare. So logistics is, man, it's a hard one. It's a hard one in Africa. There are companies doing it right. You can get stuff where you need to go, but it might be expensive. It might take a long time. And it's an area ripe for investment, I think, and for opportunity to improve the logistics in Africa. So that's been another challenge that I've had there. Another challenge in Africa is, I think, the population. And it's not a negative, certainly, and I don't want it to sound like that, but the population there is young, they're eager, many of them are educated, but the opportunities there on the continent are still small, restricted, or have challenges, right? How can you be a programmer when you don't have electricity for 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day, right? These guys would fight with 2 arms behind their back. So the reason I mentioned the population as a challenge is that they face their own challenges that are very, very difficult to overcome individually. And it makes it hard for, folks like me that want to come in and hire people or bring people on board on a team and make sure that they have what they need, right? That they have the tools to make them successful. Because now I got to come in. It's not just hiring a good programmer. It's making sure they have electricity, right? It's making sure they have good data, good internet connections. It's making sure that that's reliable. It's testing. Can we have Zoom calls with them reliably? And that's going to change. It's going to change if it's the rainy season versus the dry season. You may have great connections during the dry season, but during the rainy season, are you going to be able to call them? Are you going to be able to have Zoom meetings? Maybe not, right? I've had that problem pop up. The rainy season comes and telecommunications goes to hell, right? It's hard to communicate because there's a whole lot of things going on behind the scenes. So all these little things that come up and it's not that we don't want to hire, right? Or we don't have positions to them, but the other issues, the other challenges that we have to solve as a business or, as a partner, make it difficult, right? And it really hobbles any type of interaction and business interaction or partnerships in business when it's not just hiring a person, it's solving all these other problems behind it. So yeah, I don't know. It's a challenging one. I hope I've explained that right. I'm not trying to denigrate the people at all because they're wonderful, but the challenges that we face when we hire in Africa for one of our companies or our team, it's there's a whole checklist of things we got to go through now to make sure that it's viable hire, even if the person's the right fit, even if we want to hire them, if we can't reliably get them the tools they need, the internet, the power, we can't do it. It's something that can't be done. So that's a tough one. It hurts. That one challenge hurts. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, we're trying to solve it. We're trying to hire in Africa and work with people directly there, but it's slow. I'll tell you that, it's slow. So that's my experiences in Africa. I don't know. I just thought I'd share that. A lot of opportunities there. I'll be back probably this year, at some point in the near future. But tremendous opportunity, tremendous people. They're very eager, to grow, to do more, and to build something. And yeah, I'm excited to be there. Excited to help people, see where we can go with it, and do some really cool stuff. So, anyways, that's my thought. Not so much like really deep dive into business or anything, but a little more personal and just sharing some thoughts on Africa. Tremendous continent, great people. I'll be doing some cool stuff there in the near future, so stick around. I'll be sharing that in the near future. But yeah, if you're in Africa or you have these challenges or you have ideas on solving them, reach out to me, leave a comment or shoot me an email sometime. I'd love to chat with you, see if we can be of service or if we can connect you with the right partner there in Africa. I got some great friends across the continent. always looking for new, new resources and tools to build an opportunity. Reach out. Love to chat with you. Love to see where we can take it. Till next time, we'll see you.